Hi there, guys. Welcome back to the College Down Podcast. In this episode, we talk everything about Kyle Whittingham and Dabo Sweeney's tremendous quotes that they have. We also keep an eye on the ACC and Brian Ferentz' job. Will he keep it at this rate? Find out. As well as Michigan's investigation as far as their sign stealing as it goes in the NCAA. Seems like the NCAA has their crosshairs set on Jim Harbaugh.
Free Harbaugh.
Absolutely. Also, we talk about some unfortunate mishaps that happened at Michigan State and their video board. We also get into Derek's portfolio, as well as recap week 8. It is week 8 of the college football season. So stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. And enjoy this episode. Hi there, guys. Welcome back to the College Down Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Roth. Along with me is Derek DeBerger.
Hello.
This week in college football, as we recap everything in college sports, very notable upset in Virginia versus UNC was a big upset.
Very big.
I'm shocked by it, very surprised by it. Can't believe that they lost. It is kind of ridiculous, in my opinion, that they lost to probably the worst team in the ACC.
Oh, okay. Here's what I'll have to say about that. I'm shocked that they lost. Last year, they lost to Georgia Tech, who I do think their coach, Georgia Tech coach, he's someone that plays to his opponent's skill. You know, he can get up for teams that are a big matchup. But Virginia, all year long, they have fought. They've played really hard. They've not been good, but they've really, really fought. So I think it just takes, one game or just the course of the season to start playing better, to where it's like, okay, you can't just walk in and just trounce these guys. You got to actually play well.
I mean, no game is a gimme, but
yeah,
being a top 10 ranked team and losing to a team where its only other win is William and Mary, and the fact that we had to do a pick'em for it, where it was Virginia or William Mary, at the thought that Virginia could possibly lose that game, and then UNC goes in there and loses, is kind of ridiculous. Another upset, if you will call it an upset, is Minnesota versus Iowa. Minnesota won 12-10. You said you were able to catch the tail end of that game.
I caught the very end of that game. The BS call on the called fair catch, where he did call a fair catch, but it hit the ground first. And once it hits the ground, the fair catch is null and void. And so then he picked it up and he ran it back for a touchdown. Probably the most exciting play of the game. And then the refs called it back, which they should not have done. Your heart breaks for Iowa in that situation.
Yeah, and it appears that definitely at this point, if you guys haven't followed the podcast at all, we've vaguely followed Brian Ferentz's watch of the 26 points per game. And here's a recap of where we're at right now for that. Right now, the offense has scored a total of 138 points over 8 games for an average of 17.3 points per game. To give you an idea, since they are probably going to be bowl eligible if they're not already, I'm not sure of their exact record. Yeah, so including the bowl game, just offensive scoring, Brian Ferentz, to keep his job and have that 26 points per game, he needs to average 37.4 points per game, including the bowl game, to keep his job. I don't think Iowa's ever scored that much this year, if not maybe once.
Yeah, they scored 40 against an FCS team.
Right.
But
now, if you're including total scores with defensive scores, he only needs 33.8. Here's some notable stats from that Minnesota game to show you how poor Iowa's offense has been. A QB sneak was the longest run of the game. Iowa gained a total of 2 yards in the second half on offense.
That's good.
And 11 total rushing yards for Iowa on the game. If that doesn't scream terrible and that there needs to be a change, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I don't know.
To sum it up short, Iowa's going to go 10-2 and fire their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, probably.
And it's kind of fascinating. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we've talked about this. Their defense is
phenomenal. It's probably top 5.
It's so good. And it has been for years.
It's got to be so frustrating to be so good on one side of the ball. Like, imagine being in a defensive room being like, well, we did our job. We went out there and held them to 12. We did our job for 60 minutes. I mean, that's got to be frustrating. I wonder if there's tension in that locker room at all.
Oh, there has to be. I mean,
the animosity.
If not, Kirk Ferentz is just an incredible
And the other
coach
crazy thing about
and
it
guy.
The other crazy thing that I saw about it, I believe Brian Ferentz isn't the first offensive coordinator to be fired this year. I believe.
No. We talked about it. Indiana's offensive coordinator got fired. Arkansas just fired their offensive coordinator after 6 straight losses.
Right. How does this man have a job?
Nepotism, baby.
Man, oh man. So we got to the upsets. Here are some close calls for you. Texas eked out a win against Houston. Oklahoma very narrowly scraped by through UCF. And Washington was down 3-7 in the fourth quarter, scored 12 in the fourth quarter to come back and win that game.
Including the game-winning 90-yard pick six.
Yeah.
That's what won the game for them.
Basically. It is, so bunch of top-ranked teams, 2 undefeated teams there, sneaking by against games that you expect them to win by double digits, if not more.
Yeah. I mean, Central Florida's good. I think Central Florida's good. I think they just...
Of those 3 teams that we listed, of Houston, UCF, and Arizona State, I would agree. UCF is probably the best out of those 3.
Yeah, and then I like Arizona State's head coach. I think, we'll see what he does going forward, if he can get some talent in there. And then Houston, they have Dana Holgorsen. He's a good head coach, too. So it's like none of these are shocking. If you're a well-coached team, you can
compete.
Yeah, especially if it's at home.
Right.
I know Washington was at Washington. Oklahoma, I believe, was at Oklahoma.
And Houston was at Houston.
Okay, yeah. So that home crowd typically plays a big factor in college.
I believe it, yeah.
But
and then on to the notable games of the week. Ohio State beat Penn State. Penn State went 1 for 16, I believe it's somewhere around there. 1 for 16 on third down conversions in that game. Was not able to get anything done on third down from the most part. And honestly, a very low-scoring game to compare to what I thought. I thought these offenses were going to be a little bit better than that.
Maybe, but I don't know. That just seems like a defensive matchup, So I don't think it's at all.
I suppose
especially Ohio State's offense is not, it's kind of struggled this year.
It is. I just think you have such a good weapon on offense, probably a top 15 pick and at a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
It's just rare to see, I suppose.
Well, I mean, he from what I heard, he had a great game. Yeah. It's just everyone else around him played terrible.
Right.
So, I mean, and I think that says more about Penn State's defense. Penn State has a great defense.
Yeah.
But
very good. I mean, but Drew Aller, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Aller.
To go 1 for 16 on third down conversions, I think that tells the story of the game, of just how they weren't able to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's the money down. Third down is.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make as much sense in college because you don't get contracts, but that's where the best quarterbacks are best on third down.
Right.
You can give up a play or two here on first, second down. And I think a lot of it's probably those numbers. When you go off those numbers where it's the best quarterbacks are best on third down, it's probably because first and second down, they know the situation. They're probably throwing the ball away a lot more.
Right.
And then third down, they're like, okay, I got to go out of here. I got to get a play. And then they go and get a play. They make a play. And then, I don't know. I haven't watched enough of Drew Aller. He could be a great quarterback. I don't know. But, typically that's telling.
Right.
When you can't convert on third down consistently. You can do it over a game. And Ohio State has a very good defense. I mean, that could have just been what it is. This is a matchup of 2 great defenses. 2 great athletic defenses.
And who could just get it done on the offensive side of the ball, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man. I didn't watch it or see any of it, but Florida State versus Duke, 38-20. It seemed like it was closer in the beginning, and then Florida State started to pull away, it seemed like.
What happened is it was very close. Duke had the lead going into the fourth quarter.
Oh, really?
They were up 20-17 going in the fourth quarter.
Wow, so what a fourth quarter by Florida State.
Riley
then.
Leonard got hurt in the third quarter.
Really?
And Duke's offense just couldn't do anything.
So is he done, or what's going on with him? Because he returned back from injury for this game.
Yeah. It is if I had to guess, he's probably going to play against Louisville, but I think it's not, said either way.
So it's like a game time decision. It's
probably.
It's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, he's out for X number of weeks.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, but no, their offense is night and day with and without Riley Leonard.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, they were in that game at Florida State. They were leading in the fourth quarter, and then they just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then Florida State just overwhelmed them. And
then the battle of the pig farmer versus the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yep.
Utah versus USC. For those of you who don't know what I just quoted, Kyle Whittingham, I think, personally had like the quote of the week, in my opinion. I mean, rivaled that with Dabo Swinney, but we'll get to that one. He said a quote after the game. He said, they've got a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback, referring to Caleb Williams and USC. So they're going to make some things, and that's just the way it is. But we've got ourselves a pig farmer at quarterback, so we're proud of that guy too. For those of you who don't know, Bryson Barnes is a son of a pig farmer from Milford, Utah. And it's kind of a great story and kind of funny as well to mention it. Basically, Kyle Whittingham saying, yeah, we got a quarterback you may not know, but he ain't no bitch. He's about that.
That's what he said, pretty much verbatim.
I mean, honestly, that's basically what he said. He said he's got that dog in him.
He's got that pig in him.
Man, oh man. And also with other news, it's official that Kyle Whittingham came out and said that Cam Rising is not going to play this year.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as the severity of the knee injury came out, I was like, oh, there's no way. That's catastrophic.
Right, but you were also mentioning like the mental block and stuff and like how he was practicing and stuff. So is it just like...
That was before I saw the letters that got torn.
Oh.
You know?
Oh, it was A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah. I was like, absolutely.
His whole leg was done with the MCL, ACL, C. My goodness. So do you think he comes back for another year with Utah? Like next year?
Yeah, why not?
Fair enough. I don't know. Do you think he could make the next step, or he's got to prove himself at post-injury?
He's probably got to,
there's a lot of question
marks.
That
he's good again.
Right.
But
revalidate himself.
Yeah, I mean, and I think he will be good. Like the offense it's like Duke with Riley Leonard. It's night and day with him in it versus him without.
So one thing to note about this game that I saw online was that so USC wants to go quick. They are very up-tempo offense. They want to go quick, but they make subs. So what Utah did during this game is that they didn't make subs to match the subs that they were making. They would just make it to where they would sub whenever USC would sub and they were driving, sub out their biggest defensive tackle for their biggest defensive tackle, and basically told them to take their time jogging out there. And it worked, and it forced USC to call timeouts because they didn't want delay of games. Because they would sub late, and then Utah gets a chance to respond. And I thought that was just well coaching by.
Oh, that's great coaching. That's fantastic coaching. I mean, if you're a team that's definitely the risk you run if you want to run up tempo. Like I know there's a lot of coaches that if they decide, okay, we're gonna do no huddle, they just don't sub.
Right,
because they don't even want to run into that.
Jacksonville State is a perfect example of that.
Tennessee does the same thing.
Tennessee loves to do no huddle, spread it out too.
Oh my, their offense is so unique.
They love to spread the field, and like a lot of coaches are for moving the hash marks in. And Josh Heupel, how do you say?
Yeah, it's weird. It's Heupel.
Heupel, yeah. He is one of the few coaches as for keeping the hashes where they are. Because let's say they're on the right hash, he'll stack all his receivers on the left side and basically try to play a running game on an island. Just it's the definition of a spread offense. As use as much field as possible, and It
Yeah,
kind of doesn't work.
It worked great last year.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but like it's really interesting too because they'll have the receivers like from numbers to numbers.
Yes.
They're as spread as far as possible, but also like inside the tackles, like if you got like a tight end or a running back there, they're compact too. So it's like it's multiple different ways you have like your front seven's got to look at, or whoever's in the box, they got to look at the defense. They have to look at the call coming in from the offense differently than the secondary does. Because secondary is basically they're on an island. They got to figure out like, okay, what do I got to do with this guy right here? If they're running man,
Right.
You know, or if they're running zone, they're gonna like, okay, how am I gonna have to read this? But they're so compact inside in the backfield and between the tackles on offense that you really have to like decipher like, okay, well, like what are they doing here? It's a very very unique offense. It's very interesting. It's why college is so great. Like there's just so much like uniqueness from scheme to scheme.
Absolutely. In the way, at least offensively, I mean, it's harder to tell.
And defensively.
But I think as like a casual viewer, it's harder to view and see that.
You're right.
It's much easier to see that like Air Force is running a triple option, and that's exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Whereas like or spread offense or a pistol formation, and it's easy to see those things. Whereas defense, it's like you don't really understand what a 4-6 to like a nickel or dime package is as a casual viewer. You just see that they're just guarding everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, but
watched that game for a little bit. Was not very impressed by any things of it. I think Alabama's mad this year. I think Tennessee, I'm officially off the train.
Welcome aboard, buddy.
There's nothing there.
Welcome aboard to the off the train.
I mean, it's only 2 losses on the year, but still,
Yeah,
it's
like it's
you
maybe
know,
the 2 best teams they've played.
Right.
So
also, I think it's indicative to show that Alabama, the way they celebrate it after beating Tennessee, just shows like in the past when Alabama beats Tennessee, that's just another game on the schedule for the most part.
yeah.
But after losing to them last year and the way like the goalposts got carried out and into the river and all that stuff, Alabama went in there and they celebrated and they enjoyed that win. Like Nick Saban said he was going to chew a cigar after the game.
Yeah, I mean it probably was very personal for him, but at the same time that's a huge rivalry game.
Is it actually?
Yes.
Alabama Tennessee's big.
The 3rd Saturday of October.
Really?
That's what it's called. Every year they play on the 3rd Saturday of October.
Huh, did not know that.
Yeah, it's a big game.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so
how about that?
You know, it means a lot to those fans. I don't know why I said it like that. But
right. I didn't know.
No, I think there's definitely a personal.
Because I thought it was like
thing.
Like Tennessee, Kentucky. I thought it was like
no, it's not
Auburn.
that.
I thought Auburn, Alabama was the biggest one, the Iron Bowl.
That probably is their biggest rival, but they also Alabama doesn't like Tennessee.
Fair enough. Absolutely. Well, moving on to another big game. Well, big for us as Louisville fans, because Miami beat Clemson in double overtime. Once again, I did not catch any of this. I couldn't tell you what happened. All I know is for the final play of the game, Dabo Sweeney came out and said so it was an inside zone run for the running back, and Cabe Klubnik decided to pull it and try to run for it.
Terrible decision.
And Dabo Sweeney was asked about it. He goes, it was a run. He goes, they're like, the reporter asked him, was that an RPO? Was that an option play? Was that? No. He just decided to pull it. He was just trying to do too much. And I'm like, at that point in the game, Cabe Klubnik doesn't strike me as a type of player to have the
he's not
ability or control to make that call, to pull a ball. And also to be that running back expecting that ball, and it's not there.
Yeah, and the running back, like if you go back and watch it, the running back, it would have been
hard
close.
To get.
Yeah, you would have had to fight for that touchdown.
Yeah.
But the running back had a much better opportunity than Cade Klubnik.
Well, I mean,
like Cade Klubnik is just not that big athlete at quarterback to make that play. And so, yeah, like I don't. Maybe Garrett Riley's offenses. He likes to give quarterbacks freedom to audible, kind of play freely. Which is, I mean, I think that's fantastic when offensive coordinators do that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you give your quarterback that freedom, you have to be able to trust that they're going to make the right decisions. Because, I mean, you can give the wrong guy all the freedom in the world.
He's got the ball in his hands. Yeah, but
yeah.
So that's basically how that game ended.
Real quick before we get into what Dabo said.
Yeah.
That is the first home win in the ACC for Miami under Mario Cristobal.
Are you serious?
They did not win a single home ACC game last year. They lost their only other home ACC game this year against Georgia Tech.
That's right, yeah.
That is the first ever home win.
Gosh.
And they were down 10 in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
So Miami was like this close to just imploding this year.
Right.
And Cristobal was like this close to being on a fiery hot seat.
Absolutely. Wow.
That kind of salvaged their season a little bit.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, this is the first time that Clemson's had 3 conference losses since Dabo's second season in 2010. You have to go back 13 years to find the last time Clemson's lost 3 conference games. And Dabo had a quote for after the game where he basically said, "We're at a point," and this is quoting Dabo word for word, "we're at a point where if you don't go undefeated, you're losers, you're terrible, and that is such a terrible mindset. And honestly, maybe we need to lose a few games and lighten up the bandwagon. Sometimes the bandwagon can get a little too full." And then the full quote continues to say, "That is one good thing about going through a little so-called adversity. You really find out who is with you and who is not." I think that's a great quote by Dabo.
I mean, that's the thing. He's spot on, but I hate Dabo. So.
I mean, but he really is.
He's so holier than thou. I hate Dabo Sweeney. But he's dead right about that. Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not a Dabo fan by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think this podcast is by any stretch of the imagination. No. But I got to agree with him. It is very crazy if you look at almost any other sport, on how if any other sport you lose 2 games, you're not out of it. You're not done, right?
Mm-hmm.
In college football, it's like that, where I feel like for these elite top programs like Clemson, it's national championship or bust.
Yeah.
And
there's only one national championship, so it's going to be a lot of bust.
Right. And it's very hard to do, and I think his quote very much so just puts I don't know what the expression I'm looking for here, very well summarizes everything, I think.
Wraps it up.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. But basically with this Clemson loss, it kind of leaves that ACC second spot in the ACC wide open this year. Florida State obviously is the front runner to get that first spot. Mm-hmm. But you also got Duke, UNC, Louisville, and Virginia Tech all only have one loss.
Virginia Tech.
All only have one loss in the conference on the season.
It's kind of shocking.
I mean, it really is anyone's game for that second spot. Now, could Florida State fall? Yes, possibly. Do I see it happening? Probably not. I mean, I think their biggest test was Duke.
Yeah, they still have Miami, but
I could see it.
I don't know. Yeah, so it's interesting about the ACC race right now because Florida State obviously controls their own destiny. They went out, they're in. Duke also controls their own destiny as well. They play Louisville this coming week. They also play who do they play?
I can pull it up.
North Carolina. Sorry, it was one of the 2 teams.
Okay, gotcha. They don't play Miami.
I don't know if they play Miami. But Miami already has 2 ACC losses.
Right. They got Louisville, Wake Forest, UNC, Virginia, Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. So Duke can control their own destiny. Louisville also can control their own destiny with the loss
to Pittsburgh.
With the North Carolina loss to Virginia.
Yeah.
They can control their own destiny as well.
Yep.
So
it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of a lot of projections right now that have Louisville going to the Orange Bowl.
I would love that.
Meaning,
They make it to
what that means is, they make it to the championship, lose to
Florida State. Florida
yeah.
State goes to the playoff.
Yeah.
And then we represent the ACC in the Orange Bowl as the alternate.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean...
But that is saying they've got to win out. They got to make it to the conference championship.
Yeah, and they've still got...
Is the Orange Bowl ACC versus a certain conference, or is it any conference?
It's just at large.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in other news this week, we got Michigan. Michigan's on the big one.
Yep.
You know a little bit more about this than I do, but basically from what I've gathered is that Michigan was being accused of sign stealing, and the way that they were sign stealing is they were sending an analyst to watch at other teams' games and was watching them with their signals.
Mm-hmm.
And as last time I checked, I was under the impression that was scouting. And is this not allowed?
No, because you can't send a coach to the game.
Really?
Yeah, you can't send a coach to a game.
But you can watch film.
You can watch film all day. You just can't send them. Like, in theory, you could just have the school pay for a ticket right behind the sidelines so that you could see all their signals and then also hear what they're saying, too.
Oh.
And so, now that, in theory, could give you a huge advantage if you do it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, they NCAA is looking into Michigan for this. It's not good. Obviously, this is a bad thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, let's be honest. They're only going after this because the NCAA hates Harbaugh right
Harbaugh's in their crosshairs.
Yes.
Harbaugh is 1,000% in their crosshairs. And
which firmly puts me on the side of I want Michigan to dodge all penalties for this.
But then also the other thing is, like, it was brought to the surface by other Big Ten teams.
Yeah.
So, we'll see where it goes. I wonder, you don't have any of that hand signal crap in professional.
No.
You have a mic.
Yeah. You have a mic, and then it cuts
headset
off when the play clock hits 15 seconds.
Right. So my question is, if you're concerned about this, why not just avoid all of it and just have your linebacker or whoever your leader is on defense, and then your quarterback be mic'd up, and then you just call in plays and they just verbatim recite it out. That way, all your whatever hand motions don't get compromised. And I don't understand why the NCAA doesn't do this in the first place and why that's not allowed.
Is it not allowed? Like, is it an outright rule?
It's not allowed. Like, there is no microphones in headsets in college.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little ridiculous. I
feel like it's been in the NFL for so long.
It has. I think you can make the argument. I don't know if this actually holds up or not, but
Sure.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Fair enough.
I think you can make the argument that not every school is working with the same resources.
I thought about that.
Yeah, and so you could say that, like,
I would make the argument of that every Division I school could do this.
Yeah. Probably.
And I don't see the issue with every Division I school being able to do this, and you make it a division thing.
Yeah. Also, quarterbacks at the college level are not as sophisticated as quarterbacks in the NFL. So a quarterback in the NFL is much more adept at making an audible on the line of scrimmage, just like reading the defense, saying like, okay, we need to change this, and then calling it out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of college quarterbacks are not as in tune with that, and so they need help from the coaching staff on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll look and they'll be like, okay, I know something's wrong, but I don't know what. And then they'll look over, and then the coach is like, I know what's wrong. And then they'll, wave hold up the sign or whatever that has, Christopher Walken on it.
I just look at it this way, and this is my take on it. And it's like, I compare it to PitchCom in the MLB. You can...
Is PitchCom the one where they...
So you have a headset, and then the catcher
Yes.
presses buttons,
Which is way better than signs.
and then it tells you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people have gone to that, where majority of teams, if not all teams, have gone to PitchCom, where they call it PitchCom, right? Nothing's preventing you from still laying down signs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand, like for what you said, like quarterback, you can call in the play on your headset. Headset gets cut off. If you have to go to the signs, go to the signs.
Mm-hmm.
No one's stopping you from doing the signs. I just think it would eliminate a lot of cheating, or if this is so-called cheating and you're afraid of it, here's an alternative, and we'll provide an avenue to where this can't happen to you. Because we're in a competitive sport, and people are always going to try and find an edge so long as they are able to. Mm-hmm. Whether it's bending or breaking the rules.
Yeah. I mean, teams already do try to
disguise.
Yeah, they try to disguise it. Like if you watch a game, mm-hmm. when the coaches and the backup quarterbacks are calling the signs out,
they got like the sheets up and everything.
Well, they'll have like 3 different people doing it,
right? And
so it's like the quarterback knows which one to look at,
right?
The defense, the opposing team, they don't know which one to look at,
right? And
so it's like, okay, I don't. Even if you can steal signs, sometimes it's like, okay, you can just change it from drive to drive.
So part of me like watches, like I was under the impression that like one is like there's like 3 guys calling signs. Part of me makes me think that it is signs for different position players. So like you have D-line, linebackers, secondary, 3 guys calling signs. You have offensive line, wide receivers, running back. So like I wonder if like one guy is giving a call for like what the play is for that. Because when you hear like NFL plays being called out, or any play being called out loud in a huddle, it's just announcing what the X, the Y, the Z is doing, what type of shift the offensive line is doing. So really, you only have to hear your part of the play. The only one that needs to comprehend all of it is the quarterback. Mm-hmm. You just need to know what your job is on the field.
Well, if you go by the Marshall Falk philosophy, every player should comprehend all of it.
Should.
Yeah.
But then again, it's just doing your job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now, I do think you'll have a better understanding of all of it if you understand what each part is doing and why they're doing it. But then that's getting into a lot of it. Mm. But yeah, Harbaugh's in the crossfires of the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean, go Harbaugh, free my man Harbaugh, but purely because I hate the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
Like
ACAA?
Yeah, the ACAA. What? Yeah, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. They're going after him for buying cheeseburgers. Like, cool it, guys.
So I know he's gone on this barrage after the cheeseburger thing. Was he attacking the NCAA before the cheeseburger thing?
I don't think so.
So
as far as I can tell.
So basically, they came after him for something petty, and he's just basically doubled down and just started firing away at them.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh, you want to play this game? We're going to investigate anything that comes to light about you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I don't think it has much merit to hold.
It's a hard thing to prove.
I mean, if you can prove a staffer was there.
That being said, they did immediately suspend an analyst.
With pay.
With pay, sure. But they did immediately suspend, and that's a little suspicious. As far as, like, if the NCAA's grasping at straws, they can be like, well, you suspended him. Mm. But it's interesting, though, because there are reports that there's an offer on the table right now to make Jim Harbaugh the highest paid college football coach.
Really?
About $12 million a year. Yeah.
Wow.
And the question is, does he want to take it and just make all this money and say, I don't care, I'll battle the NCAA, or does he want to go back to the NFL and just not have to deal with any of this anymore?
I don't know. I feel like he's kind of built something in Michigan that could be special.
He has, but the NCAA has it out for him. So it's a legitimate question. I don't know. I can't get into that man's brain.
Well, in some other good news, Rutgers is bowl eligible for the first time since 2014. Shout out Rutgers.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys.
You got Ohio State next, so.
Absolutely. In other news, our favorite topic, realignment. We're finally back to this dead horse again because it's not officially dead yet.
Yeah.
NCAA has confirmed that Washington State and Oregon State University are allowed a grace period for the two teams in the Pac-12, if you still want to call it that,
Pac-2.
until the summer of 2026. So, could the Pac-12 still survive?
Yeah.
Got some wiggle room. Got about 3 years to figure it out.
Yeah, I think what's probably going to end up happening is that they're gonna tamper with all the teams in the Mountain West, and they're just gonna be like, "Hey, just vote to dissolve the Mountain West, and then you guys can all come here without having to pay the buyout."
Ooh.
And that's probably what's gonna happen.
So, but why not them just join? I feel like that would be an easier process. Is it because the name of the Pac-12 holds a higher merit?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Plus, if they vote to dissolve, they don't have to pay the buyout. It's like a $34 million buyout.
What's the percentage of that vote has to be?
75%, which would be 9 schools.
9 schools.
Yeah.
So, are they going to do what the Pac-12 did to them, where some Mountain West teams get left out?
I mean, if I'm like if you're Washington State and Oregon State and also anyone else still working at the Pac-12, let them all in. This is your chance to still be like a somewhat relevant conference. Like, you're not going to remain a power conference. Like that, the writing is on the wall there.
I mean, you've got Arizona, UNLV, Fresno State, Wyoming, Boise State, San Jose State, Colorado State, New Mexico, Nevada, San Diego State, Utah State, Hawaii. If I'm going to vote on the teams that get left out, I'm going with San Jose State, Nevada, Hawaii, and maybe Colorado State. Those are like my top 4.
I don't think this is the time to be picky, though. I think you take whoever's there.
Yeah.
But
do you try to go after like teams in the American, like an SMU?
Well, SMU's already going to the ACC.
Oh. Conference USA?
You could, but if you're already you already don't have a ton of money now that the marquee brands in the conference left, might as well just keep it local.
Right.
You know, try to be like,
whoa.
we're the
You're saying to keep college sports local?
Regional, yeah.
In this economy?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, right.
That's not a thing.
Sure isn't.
No mo. You got to have like really good Miranda rights or whatever they're called for the ACC. I said that wrong.
Grant of rights.
Yeah, Miranda rights is something different.
Miranda rights is when you get arrested.
Yeah, word. You have the right to remain silent.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
Do you know the Miranda rights?
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you use can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to attorney. If you can have for attorney, the state will provide one for you. Do you understand the rights I've just read you? I think that's it, right?
I'm pretty sure you got it, yeah.
Hey.
I mean, not verbatim, but yeah, that's the gist of it.
The gist, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's that. We're just going to have to see how it goes, how the lawsuit currently plays out with Washington State and Oregon State trying to block any of the remaining current members of the Pac-12 from voting on any future matters.
Oh.
So
there you go.
We'll see.
And then something unfortunate but kind of funny.
That's ridiculous, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny. Did you see it?
I saw the picture of it, yeah.
Did you see? So
I looked into it, yeah.
Michigan State is in some hot water for putting a Hitler trivia question during pregame warmups. The question was, where was he born?
Austria.
You are correct.
Yep.
You'd be correct on...
You know what day he was born?
Christmas. I don't know.
April 20th.
Oh. How about that?
Yeah.
Need some... Yeah. But it's not about that. It's about how the heck does that man end up on a trivia question pregame at Michigan State?
Yeah.
Apparently, it was from a third party.
That's what
they're claiming.
I have looked into this.
But they've also suspended a staffer, right?
Ridiculous.
Really?
They claim that they get their content from a third party.
Right.
Really? And then they've, suspended a staffer for, giving that the green light. Which, yeah, don't put that on the screen at a football game.
That's
really their third party is a YouTube channel that just does trivia.
Oh.
They just have trivia videos. And so, which is great. Fun channel. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Trivia is fun.
Something to do pre-game while you're waiting for the crowd to fill in hour before the game.
They never paid that guy.
Ooh.
They never paid. They never asked for permission.
They just
ripped it. And so, and then he defended it. He's saying, he's like, in the right context, that's a harmless question, which I agree with. You know, it's literally just where was Hitler born? Austria.
Right.
It's a harmless question. At a football game,
broadcast to thousands
with thousands of people in theory there.
Probably not at that point in time, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, especially at a school like Michigan State where they have like, oh my God, this place, like Larry Nassar, their football team getting away with countless sexual assaults. Recently with Mel Tucker, like this school has just such a long history of just typically about sexual assault, but like such a long history of like just doing the wrong thing.
Right.
And so it's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
If there's even like a hint of gray and like, should I put this up there? Don't do it. Don't do it. Like, keep your job, man.
I mean, I think it was just one of those things. From looking into it, from what you said, I imagine that the staffer was just like, yeah, use that video. That's great. That's fine. Doesn't look through it. Doesn't see it.
That's probably exactly what
happened. And it's just like, yeah, put it up there. Well, yeah, the newest video's fine.
But it's not like these videos are super long. You can literally just put it on ×2 speed and be like, okay, do they ask anything about white flight? Nope, we're good.
My goodness.
Like,
but, yeah.
I don't know. It probably is just a countless number of mistakes. Also, Michigan State just not paying royalties to this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Pretty messed up.
Yeah.
But like, it's just a lot of mistakes and a lot of oversight in a lot of different areas.
It's rather, I gotta admit, it's pretty funny.
It's humorous. It's comical for sure, but it's stupid.
That's what makes it funny.
Yeah. All right, we want to move on to John Shire.
Yeah, what's going on with him?
Head coach of the Duke Blue Devils men's basketball team.
Uh-huh.
He just got a 6-year extension, 6-year contract extension.
What has he done at Duke exactly to get a 6-year extension?
He's been the head coach for 1 year, and they lost in the second round, maybe?
Oh.
First round?
What seed were they last year?
They were like a 4 seed.
Oh, okay.
They were really, really trending at the end of the year. They got pretty hot. And then they got upset.
Right. Which, one game, it can happen.
It can happen.
It's the magic of March.
Yeah, but that just seems early. Like, to me personally,
to get upset or the contract?
The contract.
Gotcha.
Because, yeah, it can't just be one game. Like, if you look at a large majority of the past March Madness champions, the year before they won, they either didn't make the tournament or they got upset very early on.
Mm-hmm.
And so this happens. You know, you can bounce back. You can have a great year next year. But, like, he was the coach for 1 season. And, like, it's Duke. So they're going to have superior talent to virtually everybody that they play.
They are definition blue blood.
Yeah.
Through and through.
And so.
Much as I despise them.
Yeah. But, like, I just, and if you are a blue blood, like I said, you're gonna have better talent than everyone. Let it play out. Like, see if you've got the right guy at coach. Like, I know you want to just bring in your own guys and just make it this incestual relationship of like, yeah, Dukies.
I mean, to be fair, he has brought in good talent, brought in good recruits.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
he's done those right steps. Now, 6 years worth of contract, it might come back and bite him in the butt. It might be the best decision ever to tie this man down long term. It's a high risk, high reward play.
It's Duke, though. It's Duke. He played at Duke. He was an assistant at Duke.
Yep.
Like, if he's good, he's not going anywhere.
He played in like 2010. It was like his senior year. Yeah.
Yeah. If he's good, he's not going anywhere other than the NBA. So, like, if he's good, wait to see if he's good. and then extend him because I think
Oh,
he'll
you're
sign
saying
it.
you're saying he has they have all the power in the world because
Virtually, they're Duke. They're Duke. They can get anyone they want. Just about.
maybe.
But I don't know. I think this is really early. And what you said about him getting good recruits in, it's Duke.
Well,
You can kind of sleepwalk and get good recruits.
sure, but then again, it's also just a blue blood program for the first time in a long time that has a new coach.
Yeah.
So we don't really know how good the program is because for so long it was Krzyzewski's program.
Yeah, but even before Coach K got there, they were known as the best team that had never won a championship.
Right.
So they were good well before Coach K got there.
But they were really good when he got there.
Yeah, after he'd been there for a while, but yes.
Right. I mean, like, you look at, it does make you wonder, like, is Duke a program that is dominant through and through and they will always remain dominant no matter who's at the helm? Or are they a school, like, I hate to say it, but it's like Syracuse, Louisville, Indiana, once dominant because there was a prominent figures there, whether it be Bobby Knight at Indiana, Jim Boeheim at Syracuse, Rick Pitino or Denny Crum at Louisville, and then you bring in a new guy and it's like, okay, they might have to rebuild here and figure something out. Or is Duke just through and through a blue blood through and through?
Okay, well, I think...
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I think Duke is Duke is like the basketball program. It's like them in Kentucky. Maybe you can consider Kansas there too. But, like, it's Duke. You know? So, I really do think you can just kind of plug and play. Like, if you're not good at Duke, it's not because of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can virtually get anyone you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, do you have the right guy at the helm?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like that for most places. I think the difference between the examples you gave with Indiana, Syracuse, and Louisville, and this might be my fandom coming out.
Go for it.
Syracuse and Indiana, they had great success with one coach. And that's basically it. Like, Indiana, after Bobby Knight, has not been the same program. I like what Mark Woodson's doing. Mike Woodson?
Yep, Mike Woodson.
I like what Mike Woodson's doing there.
Shout out former Knicks coach.
Yeah. Syracuse is going to be their first year without Boeheim. But Louisville won at a high level with Peck Hickman. And then Denny Crum came and he took the program to another level. He went to the Final Four his first year. Won 2 national championships. Rick Pitino came in, made multiple Final Fours, won a national championship. So it's a school when you're a school that can win with multiple coaches, that's when you become in another level. But still, Louisville's not in the same atmosphere as Duke.
Right.
Louisville's like that next tier of Blue Bloods. And if they keep sucking, they're very much on the verge of being knocked down a notch.
Like, I would put your Blue Bloods are Kansas, UNC, Duke, Kentucky. I would say those are like your 4 Blue Bloods in the sport. Now, then you have the ones with tradition. Like, you could throw in like Indiana, Louisville, Syracuse,
Michigan State, UCLA,
Michigan State, UCLA,
Arizona.
Right. And then you got like the up and comers, the ones that are like forming something and are on the rise.
Yeah. UConn.
Gonzaga.
Yes.
I
mean, that might be it, honestly.
UConn, Gonzaga, teams that are on the rise. I'm interested to see what some SEC teams do. Now, that's very, very early to say.
Yeah.
But some of these SEC schools are starting to invest in basketball the way they invested in football.
Well, looks like got the money now.
Well, yeah. And it'll be fascinating to see that aspect of it. But, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's too early, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm still not sold on John Shire yet.
That's pretty much all the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You want to do the portfolio? Or?
Yeah, let's fire away on the portfolio. You all right? You'll make it?
Yeah. We were just so close to being perfect.
And then we weren't.
It took Arkansas. Who would have thought that a 2-5 team would ruin it all? And by
Yeah,
that I mean a 2-5 team that I'm asking to win a game.
That was pretty rough.
Yeah.
So to recap, Derek's picks for his portfolio, he did pretty good for the most part. +4 on the week. James Madison beat Marshall 20-9. SMU stomped through Temple 55-0. We also had Nebraska beat Northwestern 17-9. Toledo making it a little too close for comfort against Miami of Ohio 21-17.
Good game.
They were about 20-point favorites in that one.
I don't know why Miami only had one loss going into the game.
It's fascinating, though. Rutgers versus Indiana. Rutgers trounced and became bowl eligible against Indiana 31-14. But the one that we missed out on was the one that you mentioned. Arkansas only mustering up 3 points against a Mississippi State team.
They lost 3-7.
Yeah.
What is that? That's terrible. But anyway, now we're moving on. We're moving on. We're readjusting the portfolio. We're going to keep it fresh.
Who are the keeps?
Well, the first keep, we got SMU, baby.
Man, are
Yeah,
they
the Pony
rolling.
Express. I have to keep them, but I'm proud to keep them.
They are rolling. They've got Tulsa
They sure do.
at SMU. They are 20.5-point favorites.
Tulsa played Rice their last game.
Mhm.
Did not look good. I feel confident about this game. Pony Express is just going to roll right over them. They're going to
Absolutely.
stampede. They're going to kill the Tulsa. I don't even know what their mascot is, honestly.
Yep, play at
Is it
noon
like
on
Golden
Saturday.
something?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Golden Hurricanes, maybe.
Fair enough.
Next,
Hurricane, and they're from Oklahoma. That'd be funny.
I'm pretty sure it is.
That is very ironic.
The next hold, well, we have to, but again, I'm not complaining.
Shout out to them
We've got
Cornhuskers.
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Next up, they play Purdue.
At Nebraska, 2.5-point
Yes.
favorites.
Yes. I said at the beginning of the season, I thought Nebraska was only going to muster 3 wins, maybe. They're already up to 4.
How about that?
I mean-
Northwestern, Illinois, and I can't see who that top team is right now.
Northwestern, Illinois, Louisiana Tech, and then, I don't know, another team.
And another team, yeah.
Yeah.
Way to beat that other team.
Iowa. They beat Iowa. But I don't know. I think Matt Rule's ahead of schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
It looks like he
4 wins. That's
Yeah.
2 away from bowl eligibility.
Yeah, it looks like and the thing is their next 2 games, Purdue, Michigan State. They
Definitely
could reach
winnable
bowl
games.
eligibility here real soon.
Fire away at that.
I think he's a year ahead of schedule.
Mhm.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the man.
So we got Nebraska,
coach.
SMU. Who's the next hold?
Well, the next hold, again, I've got to hold him, but this one is begrudgingly so. It's going to be your Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas, if you will. You know it's illegal to say Arkansas in Arkansas?
Why is that?
I don't know. Annoys them.
Fair
It's one of
enough.
those stupid state laws. Oh, well. I should have known. Their next game is Florida. Coming off a bye.
Well,
They don't play this week,
Yeah, they don't play this week. They're on
but
a bye.
I've got to hold them.
Hold them for Florida.
So,
We'll see you next week, Arkansas. See what they
yes.
do. Any other holds we got?
Yes, we got one more, and it's another team on a bye, but it is your Toledo Rockets.
They are rocketing right now.
I like their coach a lot. I really do. He's been there for some years now.
Yep.
I'm a fan of him. Like I said, they're on a bye this week, but they play Buffalo next, and they play. I mean, the rest of their schedule is wide open.
I mean, I would say they're the favorites to win the MAC.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you want to talk about Maction? Watch Toledo.
All right, Toledo, Arkansas, Nebraska, and SMU. Who are the 2 newcomers, and who are we saying goodbye to?
Well, the first team that I'm selling, I have to sell, James Madison. They're now in the AMP top 25.
Yeah.
So I got to get rid of them. Who am I
They're
going to
looking
replace
good.
them with?
Undefeated.
I'm going to replace them with Liberty, a fellow undefeated group of 5
Yep.
team. They play
tomorrow night.
Tuesday night. They play WKU at WKU.
Yep, and
Western has not scored in the second half of their last 3 games.
How about that?
That's bad.
That's
That's really bad, especially for a team that has a lot of seniority, a lot of experience. Austin Reed is their quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. They have not scored in the second half for 3 straight games.
To be fair, they have played some decent teams. I think Jacksonville State is a good team that they played.
Yeah.
They played middle. I'm not sure.
And then Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech's not that good this year.
No. They are 4.5-point favorites. Liberty is against that Western Kentucky at WKU tomorrow night.
Yeah. So I've got the Flames in this one. The Flames.
Is that what they're called?
Yes,
Liberty
it is.
Flames. How about that?
It's probably got to do something with lint or whatever.
So we are saying goodbye to Rutgers then.
Yes. Rutgers is the final team that we're selling.
And who are we buying?
Well, I got burned once by a 2-5 team.
Are you going to do it again? You going to get hurt again?
I'm going with an 0-7 team.
Is it like Sam Houston?
I'm going with Sam Houston.
It's Sam Houston.
Yes.
Gosh, I'm so disappointed that I know that.
Look at this schedule. They got UTEP on Wednesday, a Wednesday night game. That's how you know it's a marquee matchup.
Absolutely.
Yeah. UTEP in University of Texas at El Paso. They play in the Sun Bowl, but it's not at UTEP. It's at Sam Houston.
They were leading against FIU this year. I mean,
they were.
Last game.
Sam
they went
Houston,
in overtime.
They played some close games. They want to win. They want to get that first win. They want to get it off their chest.
And so they're playing UTEP at Sam Houston State.
Mm-hmm. Is it State?
Yeah, it is State. Sam Houston State.
I didn't know that.
SHSU.
That's ridiculous.
It is Sam Houston State University.
Oh, man.
And you're picking them. And you want to know what's
I didn't even know the name of the school when I'm picking them.
You want to know what's even funnier?
What?
They're favored against UTEP.
Well.
3.5 points.
They're going to get this win.
So
they're going to get this win, baby.
So here you go. So for this four-leg parlay, to be fair, got rid of 2 legs there with those buys. Could be the first time that we see a winner.
Yes.
And with $1 bet, you can win $3.25.
High rolling.
How about that?
Well,
some fun picks there. Absolutely.
Yes.
Sam
Great
Houston
picks. Sam Houston.
State.
Sam Houston State. They're gonna finish 5-7. I'm calling it.
Gosh, they can't even be bowl eligible. That is so unfortunate.
There's a rule. They can't. The stupid rule for the NCAA.
JMU can't even go to a bowl, can they?
Because of the stupid rule that applies to college basketball as well.
FCS to FBS.
Yeah. Or in college basketball,
is it
Division
2
II.
years?
It's
or is it
4 years.
It's 4 years?
In basketball. I think it's 2 years in football.
What? It's 4 years in basketball?
Which is ridiculous.
Bellarmine can't go to a
Why should you be punished for being better than everyone else?
You're like, we're going to move up because we think we're good enough. And then you move up and you're better than everyone else.
There was a team that lost in the semifinals of their conference tournament. But by the time that game started, they had already won. They already clinched the automatic bid because the team that won the other semifinal game couldn't go. They had a bowl. They had a March Madness ban, and then the team that they were playing also had the ban because they both transitioned from D2.
That is so stupid.
It's so stupid.
I mean, what was the idea behind this rule in the first place?
I don't know.
Like honestly, I'm trying to like, okay, there's rules for a reason, right? In theory.
In theory, yeah.
Right. So
I think a lot of rules are made because people want to justify their job, and so they just do stuff.
Oh, it's dumb, poor rules.
It's incredibly dumb.
Oh.
But yeah, James Madison, despite being in the top 25 right now, can't go to a bowl game.
That's ridiculous.
They're undefeated, can't go to a bowl game. They might finish 12-0, can't go to a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to the pick'ems.
All right.
We got a fun one to start off. It's another weekday game. We got Georgia State versus Georgia Southern. It's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
This
it's a 6-1 versus 5-2 team.
Yeah.
Georgia State's 6-1. Georgia Southern's 5-2.
Mm-hmm. Georgia Southern, by the way, has one of the top quarterback transfers.
Really?
This year. Yeah, he's played phenomenal. I think I cut you off.
You are fine.
But
no, you didn't.
I guess I'll go ahead and make my pick. I like Georgia State in this one. I think they got a good, solid program down there at the Sun Belt, I believe, is their conference.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know it's at Georgia Southern. I'm going with Georgia State.
I'm going with Georgia Southern just because I look at the games as they played, and they've beaten all the teams that they are supposed to beat so far. And I think Georgia State is another team that they should beat. I think it'll be very, very close. But they've lost to Wisconsin and James Madison, who are both, in my opinion, decent teams. Comparatively, one's a Power 5 program. The other one is beating the crap out of everybody.
2 teams that are either in the top 25 or are getting votes for the top 25.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, no, they
Give me Georgia Southern off of that.
I don't hate the pick at all.
And then we're going to get to a later pick, and you're going to see me go against that knowledge.
All right, well, next up we've got Oklahoma versus Kansas. Oklahoma played a tough game against UCF last week.
It was
at home.
This was way too close to what it needed to be.
This one's at Kansas. I've got Oklahoma in this one, though.
I'm giving it Oklahoma. It's just one of those safe picks where it's like until they show me that they fail, I'm going to pick them. You know, it's like one of those where it's like, don't stop riding a hot hand. I forget what it is. What's the saying?
I'm sure you could say that.
Yeah. I mean, like, Oklahoma coming in, we didn't know what they were, and now they're showing us what they are.
Now they've looked really good.
They have, and then they've also looked like, okay, this could be the team, and then they barely mustered their way through, and then Kansas has been kind of struggling in a way.
They're 5-2.
Right.
But the thing is, it looks like Jalen Daniels is kind of
banged up.
He looks kind of injury prone. Because last year when they had their struggles, he was out. He's been out multiple times this year. Their backup quarterback is good, and I think Lance Leipold is a great coach.
To be fair, you're a big guy about this. They are coming off a bye week.
Mm-hmm. I think if you've got a good coach coming off a bye week, that makes such a big difference.
And Leipold is a good coach.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to stick with Oklahoma, but
it could be interesting.
Do not be shocked if Kansas pulls off the upset.
Same here.
All right, next we've got Georgia versus Florida. This is a neutral site game like it always is. It's played in Gainesville, Georgia.
That is the most confusing and dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Is that not? That's in like southern Georgia. So random. Why is there even a football stadium there?
Wait, where does Florida play?
Florida plays in Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah, you just said Gainesville, Georgia, and that just threw me for a loop.
I bet it threw some of you for a loop as well.
You were like, neutral site, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And then you finished what you were saying, and I was like, oh.
It's in southern Georgia. It's somewhere in between the two. I think it's closer to Florida, but it is in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, so, not near Athens.
Yeah, both teams are coming off a bye. Florida has impressed me this year. They're honestly not as bad as I thought they were going to be. They're 5-2 right now.
They got to vote for me for top 25.
Yes.
If I did have a vote.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay. I've got Georgia in this one. I think even without Brock Bowers, I think Georgia's going to take care of business. I don't think Florida's going to have the manpower.
I'm still going to pick Georgia in this one, but I don't think Georgia's the Georgia that we thought they are. And I think
said it.
And there is a lot of questions.
I said it.
There is a lot of question marks, especially now with Brock Bowers going down, because they leaned on him in that Auburn game for them to eke out that win against Auburn.
Yeah.
So I do wonder with that Georgia offense, who would they lean to and who would they go to? Who does Carson Beck target? And
probably Lad McConkey.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see what can happen, but they are not the Georgia of last year. That just steamrolled teams.
Somebody called it.
I mean, they really aren't. You're spot on there.
I mean, I've been very wrong.
Yeah.
In other areas, but I called that one. Next, we've got BYU versus Texas. Texas coming off of a close game to Houston. BYU.
Quinn Ewers got hurt during that game. I don't know if he's available or not.
He's not. He's going to miss several weeks.
Ooh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Could we see Arch Manning?
No, I think you said he was third string, right?
He is, but Murphy didn't look phenomenal.
That's true.
Murphy is also just a redshirt freshman.
I think it depends on how bad he looks. Because, I mean, there's definitely...
He's very athletic, but he doesn't seem... He doesn't show that guy quality yet.
Okay, but also... the intention was to redshirt Arch Manning. So I think unless it's dire, I don't think you're going to burn that redshirt.
I mean, I look at Texas right now. You have your one loss to Oklahoma. You still kind of got a shot.
Absolutely.
You got the redemption if you win out to go and beat Oklahoma, and the recency bias is there for you to maybe slip in.
Yeah. Who you got?
Texas.
I'm going to take BYU.
Ooh.
That's right. I like BYU's coach. I think Keaton Slovis is playing maybe his best year since his freshman year at USC. I like BYU in this game. I also picked it preseason, so I'm a little biased.
Mm-hmm.
But give me BYU. All right. Up next, we got a very important one to the ACC race and a very important one to us.
Yep.
We got Duke versus Louisville. The second ever ranked matchup at Louisville in a single season. Or the second, I mean, the first time there's ever been 2 ranked matchups in a single season at Louisville.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've got Louisville in this one.
Oh.
Coming off a bye, coming off a loss. I think Louisville's going to be focused. They've had a lot of time to prepare, and I don't know the status of Riley Leonard. Even if he does play, he might be a little banged up.
Yeah, absolutely. The question is, Louisville's such a fickle team this year. Which Louisville's going to show up?
Yeah.
Which Jake Plummer's going to show up?
Jack.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the Notre Dame or is it going to be the Pittsburgh Georgia Tech? Because even though we won against Georgia Tech, it was an ugly game.
It was an ugly quarter.
Yes. Well, I mean, for
almost,
defensively, it was. But also the balls weren't great either. But yeah, picking my heart here and my head, but more my heart. I'm going Louisville, but
I feel confident about this game.
Really?
I think there's definitely a chance Louisville loses, but I feel confident.
I mean, like, if Leonard isn't 100%, I like our defense. But then, like, it really just depends on which quarterback we get that shows up. Because I think Duke has a very good defense as well.
Oh, my God, yes.
So, yeah.
All right. Next, we got another Group of 5 game. We got Miami of Ohio versus Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
It's a battle for the state. In Miami, they could clinch it because they already beat Cincinnati. Ohio State will never play in state opponents because they're scared.
Is that actually a thing?
Oh, they don't ever schedule them. Yeah.
Mm.
I've got Miami of Ohio in this one. I think they're a solid team. Ohio's pretty good too. These are like probably 2 of the top 3 teams in the MAC right now, behind Toledo, but who is also in Ohio. Which I guess Miami, Ohio didn't claim the state outright if they lost to Toledo. Whatever, ignore that. But no, I like Miami, Ohio in this one.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna win.
I like Ohio. I think Ohio's shown grit and determination this year. They look pretty good. Only lost to Northern Illinois. Beat Iowa State this year. Yeah, wait, take that back. They lost to San Diego State too. But yeah, give me Ohio in this one.
All right, next matchup. We haven't talked about him for a while. A lot of people haven't talked about him for a while. Coach Prime.
Ooh.
We got Colorado versus UCLA at UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Colorado in this one. I am.
Give me UCLA, and I don't think it's going to be close. I'm talking winning by more than 2 possessions.
I mean, I could see that. I just think that after that loss to Stanford, that was an abysmal loss. That was terrible.
Very bad.
Coach Prime really got into him. He was like, I love this game. He's like, I need to know if you guys like this game or you love this game. He's like, I know you love the fame and attention that comes with it, but do you love the game? He's like, I need you to think about that and then get back to me. And so I think you're going to see a lot of hungry players. Whether that manifests into a win, I don't know. I'm picking them, but I think you're going to see a really hungry team.
I just think Dante Moore and that team, and that UCL team is just much better than them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really argue with you there, but
that's what I just think.
Moving on. We got Oregon State versus Arizona.
Arizona keeping it close against Washington. No, that's Arizona State. My apologies.
Arizona kept it close against Washington, too. I think it went to overtime.
Really?
Yeah.
So, Arizona
went to overtime with Washington and double overtime with USC. I'm picking Arizona in this game.
I could see it.
I like Arizona. I like their quarterback, Jake Delora.
Beat the snot out of Washington State.
Just throttled Washington State.
Went to overtime against USC.
they had a bye. So they just absolutely handled Washington State and then got to take a week off. So I'm taking Arizona in this one. Plus, it's at Arizona. I think that's going to make a big difference.
Give me UCLA.
Oregon State?
Golly. I'm looking here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, give me UCLA against Colorado, too, while we're at it. So what you get for putting two Pac-12 teams right next to each other?
I guess that's my fault.
No, it's not.
Well, we're about to get two future Pac-12 teams. UNLV versus Fresno State. It's at Fresno State. Who you got?
I've only really watched and followed Fresno State. Give me Fresno State. Don't really know too much about UNLV to really make an assumption or pick about them.
Both of these teams are only one-loss teams.
Yeah. Fresno State was close against Wyoming, who
Mhm.
now controls their destiny in the Mountain West,
Yeah.
as well as the
Do they, or does Air Force? Because they lost to Air Force.
Oh, it is Air Force.
Yeah.
You have corrected me. Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, and I think the Mountain West still does divisions. It's like Mountain and West or something like that. But
It might be.
I'm going with Fresno State too. I think they're both good teams. I think this is. It's not a stretch.
No standings, just
no
just straight up.
divisions? Okay.
UNLV's the only other undefeated team other than Air Force.
Yeah, I mean, it's not wild to say that this is the best Group of 5 conference this year,
Without
and
question.
like by a wide margin. It's very good this year. So, but
You
I'm
could-
still going with Fresno State.
You can make a case for the American, but I don't think it's as close as this.
Americans got some good teams. Americans usually like right there.
You got what? SMU, Tulane, UTSA?
FAU is okay, but it's
Am
their
I
first
thinking-
year with Tom Herman.
Am I
So,
thinking of the right conference, right?
Yeah,
SMU.
yeah. This is FAU's first year in the American.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. But and they got Memphis. Memphis is a solid team.
Yep. But
Rice, I like a lot of the players Rice has. Honestly, they got JT Daniels. I think he's really good. But we're not talking about Rice.
he's so weird. He's like transferred everywhere.
Yeah, this is like his 5th school or something.
Yeah.
All right, finally we've got the matchup of the week. We got Oregon versus Utah.
I believe he's the only player in his. Sorry, Jaden Dale. Just want to say this. I think he's the only player to ever play one school for like 3 different schools. I think he's played Texas like 3 times. I think he's played Texas 3 times for 3 different schools.
That's cool. Good for him. Good for JT.
Let's see. Yeah, sorry. Oregon versus Utah.
Yes, we got Bo Nix versus the pig farmer.
Bryson Barnes.
Yes, Bo's got that dog in him. Bryson's got that pig in him.
I suppose.
Yeah, I like Oregon in this one.
I think Oregon's a very good team.
Mm-hmm.
I think hindsight's 20/20, but they could have beat Washington. I think that's going to come back to haunt them. Obviously, they could still get redemption, but I do think Oregon and Washington are the 2 best teams in the Pac-12 right now.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And give me Oregon in this one.
All right.
I think Utah though has a better defense, but I think
Absolutely. Utah's defense is incredible.
I think overall Oregon's got the better team.
Yeah, and Oregon's defense is pretty good too. So
Yep,
they're
absolutely.
definitely not anything to write off.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. See you in the next one. Thanks.